Hey folks, welcome back. Hey, if there's one thing I'm known for, it's my deep, deep, deep love for Halo. The mythology of it, the my fanboy obsession with the Halo franchise, even though it's been taken over by one of the worst gaming companies ever, and yeah, Halo hasn't been. It's been going for some rust spots last decade or so. Even though I still really loved Halo 4 and Halo 5, hot take, crucify me. I enjoy the Covenant Civil War and on the Covenant homeworld between the different Covenant factions. In Cortana going dark side, they could have done better with it, but the lack of a good villain in Halo has been something I've been my biggest complaint about the Halo games, at the very least. The Halo books have been really good post Covenant War, really delving into a Cold War between the various Covenant remnants. UNSC it represents like the war on terror and the Cold War. It makes these geopolitical climates been in the Halo galaxy. It's really good shit. And UNSC, they're the good guys. Because the aliens are the enemy. You gotta hate those aliens. I mean, what's more fun when you're playing a Halo game or reading a book for a bunch of badass space marines to do war crimes against a bunch of alien fanatics and their evil space popes? You even get to kill the space pope. Hell fucking yeah. But no, in all seriousness, the Halo franchise has been one of the deepest impacts on me of any game I've ever played, aside from maybe Mass Effect or maybe the Knights of the Republic series. It's such a classic, and Bungie back in the day and they're still like that. I still play a shit ton of Destiny. I love Halo and Destiny, but something I've always loved about Bungie and 343 is its mutated stepchild is the deep, deep lore and love and understanding and telling of modern day mythology. That is the Halo franchise. And the Halo franchise is such a deep mythology. You have all the various Covenant races and like remnants, the wars and conflicts between the various empires. The Forerunner saga is meta beyond belief. If you really get deep into the Forerunner lore, it gets really deep, and I would really recommend the Forerunner books that happened towards the beginning of the new Halo era. Forerunners were like it gets really deep and meta with the Halo lore, especially when you get into the Forerunners and the Precursors, the living time, how the Precursors are cosmic entities that are symbiotic with the universe, and they literally are space gods that create the entire universe, and they feast upon both the great excessive joy of life and all its kinks and joys and all the pain and suffering of the universe. And the Precursors are expressions of the universe. They're cosmological beings. They're eldritch horrors that both enjoy all the highs and joys and the suffering of the universe and all life in it. God, that's fucking goth. Fucking love it. But no, the Halo universe is really known for getting really meta. I mean, the Precursors are just really living time. The universe is like self-aware, and there's like this concept that everything will happen and will repeat itself in this constant, endless cosmic cycle. And I love that about how the Precursors and the Flood work. If you really want to delve deep in how deep this mythology goes, read the Forerunner books. The Forerunners really create life. They're these ancient alien civilization that creates entire planets. And we get this, and this is a legacy of the Marathon saga. Marathon was like Halo Point 1, okay? It was also a deep, deep mythology full of lore and AIs rising to godhood. And there's so many references that Bungie and 343 does with its books, its data logs, about references to other like historical figures, religious text, and it's so how they use these metaphors from various religions and like classical figures and like works of fiction to support their universe, to support their mythology. I fucking love it. Bungie is really good at, and this is where I'll argue Destiny, Halo, and Marathon are part of the same multiverse. Is like, and then again, the metaphysics of the living time or the metaphysics of Marathon, which there's always going to be the same cosmic stories and tropes that repeat themselves time and time again across time and space. The evil galactic empire, the UNSC, the brave space marine Spartan who is defending humanity against the alien onslaught, the cosmological figures of the light, the Forerunners. Like there's like this deep sense of light and the darkness, the light, the wars from chaos and order, the oppression of empires, the aspirations and dreams of exploring the universe. These are themes that repeat themselves over and over again throughout these games. And they add such depth to it and make you realize this isn't just Star Trek. This is a gaming franchise and a gaming studio that understands the importance of mythology. And another core concept of Halo is order and chaos and light and darkness and good and evil. And these are very powerful cosmic forces that exist in the universe. And just because you're a person of the light doesn't mean necessarily you're a good person. Just because you're someone who uses the darkness doesn't mean you're necessarily evil. These are forces and concepts built into the universe, and these metaphysics of conflict and rebirth and the rise of civilizations. And the Forerunners understood this with the mantle responsibility, and that it was their duty to protect life. It was their religion was like a weird cosmic worship of the universe. It was this worship of, we have the duty to protect all life, and all life is sacred, and we will protect it and serve it. But in reality, when you get in the Forerunner books, it gets really dark in how they interpret this and how they abuse it. And something Halo is really good at is talking about religion and how it's like the importance of religion, especially religious mythology, inspiring us to fight the journey, to fight the battle, no matter how unbelievably at odds we are. I mean, humanity in all three major settings of Halo Bungie games are on the verge of extinction, fighting against alien empires and dark cosmological forces that would either enslave us, destroy us, or destroy all creation. And there's like the egotistical AI that is superior to us, and that's a question Halo often brings up. What is life? Can AI truly be a sentient living thing? What is human? What is life? What's there to Master Chief and Cortana? Who's the machine? Who's the person? And the symbiotic relationship between Cortana and Master Chief is, she's the spirit, she's the oracle, and he's the warrior machine that was trained since he was a child to fight, war, and kill. And another theme Halo really does well at is delving into the morality of war. What do the ends justify the means? And that's something you see throughout Halo, from the Halo Ray, which is a cosmic reset button, like Noah's Ark. And there's so much references to like religious metaphors, and how the Ark from Halo is referenced to Noah's Ark, or the Covenant Empire is built on a lie, and how the Covenant are just like their entire galactic empire is built on a religious theme. That is a misinterpretation, and they killed billions that knew of that. And then the sheer like humanity and deep writing with Bungie projects and games, I deeply love. And how human their characters are. Cortana, Durandal. These are AI that think they want to save the protect the universe and give it everlasting peace, but they're willing to go to unbelievable stakes and destroy entire civilizations to protect and serve the universe. At least with Cortana. In general, Halo Bungie understands the hero's journey, the chosen one who literally a war orphan or was augmented with super advanced technology to fight the unspeakable horrors of the universe, the unspeakable creatures and empires and like eldritch horrors that live beyond the stars and whose very existence could destroy humanity at a single thought. And Master Chief, the Marine from fucking Marathon, the Guardians, these are people who've been given by the universe a destiny to save the universe, to protect life, and give hope to a dying civilization that is on the verge of destruction, and that's human civilization. And Destiny really goes into some deep lore with its light and darkness conflict, the war between order and chaos. And if you really get into it, like, the Traveler is life. The Traveler is the cosmological universal avatar that brings life and joy into the universe and awakens sentience and civilizations. And then the darkness comes and perverts that. And I love that mythology. Like, it's a constant cosmological cycle. And the question is, can the cycle ever be broken? And I think that's where chosen ones like the Guardians and the Spartans come in. They're heroes who fight against all the odds and sacrifice everything to give us hope. To give us hope even when we're in our darkest hour. And I really enjoy that storytelling. Destiny and Halo, and in the Forerunners too, to serve life, to protect it from like the flood, the darkness, the forces of chaos and entropy and enslavement. And like, the flood represent sin, in my opinion. They represent the corruption of the cosmos, and the light / the mantle represents preserving this no matter what the cost. And we have to do terrible things sometimes to keep the universe running, but how do you live with yourself out of the shit you've done? And that's another thing that Halo and Destiny Halo does really well, is the military science fiction and the PTSD and the life of military personnel. That's something the Halo TV show really delves into. And really gives you these are people who died for their country, that died for their empire, that died for the people of their nation, and how they get treated, and they shouldn't be treated like shit. We should try and help these Marines and Spartans, all the trauma that they go through. It's something worth thinking about. In a lot of ways, the Bungie games give us hope, and that's what the light is: hope, light, joy, life. And these things are worth protecting in a universe that is so hostile and full of like darkness and evil creatures that want to consume and destroy life. And that even at the bottom, and like they talk about spirituality, a basic spirituality all religions talk about, and they create their own modern day mythology that inspires us to fight against the dark anti-life of the universe. And I love that. It's a good message, and that there's fate. The Destiny really does a good job saying there is a higher power that's out there watching out for you. And Halo does that. I mean, if you're thinking about it, the Spartans' Master Chief is like somehow cosmologically graced by the living time to be a champion of humanity and protect us, and he has like luck. He has the cosmological weird phenomenon of luck on his side, and it keeps him going no matter what. He loses so many of his friends and closest companions, and that is such good storytelling. I love Bungie for its deep chosen one mythology it creates, and Halo and Bungie matter because these are games that, more so than even most RPGs I'm at, that give you the strength and the courage to fight no matter how much the odds are against you. These themes just really resonate with me. Halo, Bungie, they know, they're like the George Lucas of... I have more hope for Bungie projects like Halo and Marathon, which thank God we're getting a Marathon sequel finally. And just the sheet, like Mass Effect and Halo, I have more hope for games like this than I have for the abomination that's the Disney saga. Oh God, I hate Star Wars Disney so fucking much. And I'll take Halo Infinite over the abomination that's the sequel trilogy any day of the week. And I once again, fuck Disney. Fuck Disney. Hashtag fuck Disney. But no, Halo even now has a better job of telling a mythology and has better writing than the fucking sequel trilogy. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Also, I'll stop being a Star Wars fanboy because of how Disney fucked up any day of the week, and I'll choose Halo or Warhammer any day of the week over the abomination that is the fucking sequel trilogy. And Bungie really they know how to make worlds. They know how to make stories and tell mythologies. They know how to tell mythologies. They also know how to really get your inner angsty emo kid on who would play like Breaking Benjamin at freaking 5 o'clock in the morning while you're supposed to be working on homework, but you want to play some Breaking Benjamin, get on Halo firefight with your friends and just endlessly kill aliens and get slaughtered, make a shit ton of edgelord jokes and reference how much you fucking hate fucking Call of Duty, and you get into an argument that Halo is gay, and that's the childhood for many of us. That's the childhood for many of us, arguing over what that Halo is this gay space opera and Call of Duty is more hardcore and realistic. Fuck Call of Duty. Fuck Call of Duty. Yeah, but no, that's just that's my childhood with Bungie games. Also, my 20s were spent on going on many quests and raids, killing the filthy aliens, Xenos enemies of humanity. Holding up, slaughtering those filthy Hive. I mean, the Hive are so cool. They're like an edgelord alien race. I fucking love it. Just going on boss raids, killing as many aliens as possible and trying to fight amongst yourselves for the glimmer. Yes, the glimmer, and making all those homoerotic jokes about your guardians as much as possible, especially if they're awoken, which are sad boy, space, femboy elves, which I fucking love. I love how gay the awoken are. But no, Destiny knows how to create a culture as well with their gaming. They know how to create a culture of gaming and like communities, and Bungie's always been great at creating communities around their games, and that's something that really resonates with me as well. I have so many fond memories of slaughtering the filthy aliens, killing the fucking space pope, and with my friends over the years, and just having fun these sandbox worlds where you can create your own campaign. Another cool thing I've always loved about the Bungie games is like the Forge mode, the Firefight modes, and 343 has done a really good job of that in the past couple of years with Halo Infinite and its Forge mode, its endless custom games. You can now go on freaking raids, and dungeon missions, and like host like horde modes and campaign missions on Halo. Yeah, I love it. I love that. I freaking love that. And then there's Firefight and the Halo 5 has some of the best multiplayer before Halo Infinite came out that I've ever seen in a Halo game. I freaking love it. Just the sheer amount of fun things you can do with your friends and the sheer nostalgia we have with Bungie games like Halo and Destiny, with the adventures we've gone on with our friends while we're drunk and high and killing aliens and going on these missions and seeing our best friends die in front of us and just endlessly going on these quests and saving the universe. Yeah, there's so many fond memories I have of Halo and Destiny, and just the sheer replayability and the community that Bungie created with these games, and the sandbox and the Forge mode, and like they know how to engage their community. That's what I really enjoy about Bungie. There's just the war crimes you commit against the Covenant on a day-to-day basis every time you roleplay in Halo Infinite. How many alien midgets you get to blow up and get to slaughter, and the teabagging of alien religious leaders. I love that about my Halo roleplay over the past few years. And that's something Halo does well. There's edgelords, there's nerds, there's theists, there's the Halo fan base is so diverse. The Bungie fan base is so diverse, and the amount of writers and stories they tell in their universes, whether that be through books, anime. I've always loved that. I've always enjoyed the sheer expanding universe mentality Bungie and 343 have had for their games. Missions, your own game, your own maps, and just making machinima. Even though machinima is often called gay as fuck, it's one of the coolest things I did as a kid. And why Bungie and 343 are so good at creating worlds and universes for you to explore and get lost in, with the lore, the alien empires, from the Covenant to the Cabal to the frickin' Hive, and these empires that are at war with each other and how they're trying to wipe out humanity. I mean, Halo is straight up, the UNSC, despite being a militaristic, fascist human empire, is literally the Rebel Alliance in the first few Halo games. And the Covenant is the evil alien empire trying to wipe us all out. And there's like so many Star Wars themes in the Chosen One, the defenders of hope fighting against the evil empire. I just love that Halo and Destiny and Marathon. They're really good at writing alien empires. They're really good at it and making them into really cool villains to have fun killing and slaughtering. And once again, killing the Space Pope by jumping on his throne and me beating the crap out of him stands as one of my favorite moments in gaming since I was in middle school. But once again, Halo also does a good job of creating politics. Bungie does a good way of creating like factions and the politics between the various factions. Fear 3 really showed the conflict between empires in its books. Halo did a good job of that. The war between the empires of the galaxy fighting for the legacy of the Forerunners. And that's something that really I enjoy about Halo, is the conflict between the empires trying to be the true inheritors of the Forerunner legacy. And the mantle, when you get into the mantle into religious significance and how the different like races and civilizations are fighting to be the heirs to this mantle, I love that. The mantle of that is the inheritors of the rulers of the universe, whose empire comes out on top and becomes the next super civilization. I enjoy that. And Bungie to this day has created some of the most awesome gaming missions and campaigns and stories, and the replayability of these stories, and like how in Destiny you can literally, they bring this to an MMO sort of aspect, and the adventures you go on as your guardians, and like the raid missions, the conflicts, and the stories being told in your experiences with your friends in an MMO sort of setting. I love that about Destiny. I know even though 343 and Bungie split apart and divorced, and Halo got lost in the custody battle with 343, but even then, these writers and these story content creators and artists and game designers who've been there since the 90s, making these franchises, making this multiverse of awesomeness, I love. And the dream these guys had for the games they create still holds true even now in the corporate bullshit of the modern day gaming industry. So I guess going forward, I would really recommend that people put their faith, not put their faith, but really, this is my thing about the gaming industry all the time. You want to people stop making shitty games. Don't spend your money on shitty gaming companies. Post like Deadpool got the whole Deadpool movie got started through like fans doing like movements online and protesting and like Kickstarters and kick funding. And honestly, Free for Three does have a future ahead of itself. It is working its own issues out. I will give Halo Free for Three especially one more Halo game to prove to me that they can still do it. And they are making a lot of good lore. They are writing a lot of good books. The Empty Throne is a book I highly recommend to most Halo fans. And even then, Free for Three is going to shit. Bungie's still standing pretty proud. They're bringing back Marathon. Destiny, in my opinion, was a massive success. They created something that really pushed the gaming industry forward, and was a great experiment. It succeeded, and now we're going back to freaking Marathon of all places, and it's gonna be like a MMO sort of like loot shooter that takes place on an alien planet. Just look at the freaking trailer; it looks awesome. I really recommend people get more into Marathon. And then there's there's the Marathon mods and like ROMs that you can just download for free and play the entire Marathon trilogy online. And if you're looking for a classic like old school gaming franchise get into Marathon. It's worth it. The lore and like there's so much about Halo, OG Bungie Halo in this game, and how they tell its story for like data logs and communications with the AI and like data terminals. That's something I think so many games should bring back. If Halo 3 did that, telling your story and your lore and the narrative through like data logs. Metro Prime did that. I love that. I mean, reading data logs from like Covenant or Banish or whatever. And 343 kind of did that with Halo Infinite with like the lore with the data logs from the UNSC and the Banish perspective and the Forerunner perspective. It's a good form of storytelling, but my advice is maybe go off like the visual media and go back to like written media, like data logs. Stop trying to make like cutscenes they're unlockable. As cool as they are, I think let's just go back to nostalgia and do data logs. Elder Scrolls kind of does that, still does that with books that you find throughout the world. Same thing in Dragon Age, codexes and shit like that. But like, there's something just so nostalgic about communicate with an AI and a sentient AI god. And Halo 3 did this too with its mendicant bias and having an AI talking to you through these data terminals and communicating to you the story's plot and lore. I just think there's so much cool stuff about that. And like Marathon, once again, it's trippy. It's a great game to play while you're high. It's games to play while you're high, and it gets really timey-wimey and weird with its lore. And then there's so many crossovers with Halo. I seriously believe that Halo and Bungie and Halo, Marathon, and Destiny are all part of the same multiverse. And once again, to the concepts like living time, or how the universe constantly reborn. And there's so many crossovers between the light and the darkness and the living time of the various Bungie games that I'm really starting to think that there might be some sort of cosmic space magic that connects all these universes together and some weird Doctor Who shit that I really fucking love. Marathon's just a fun. This game defined the genre, okay? It took what Doom created, ran with it, and created something great out of it. It's the in between the Doom saga and the Halo era of gaming, and when it comes to FPSs, and Marathon actually has like this deep, deep story, this deep, deep lore that you have to go out of your way to search and find throughout the world, and I love that. I fucking love that. And hoping the new Marathon game they're coming out with this coming year really does a lot good, and it really once again brings back a lot of those data terminals and communicating with AIs for like maybe holograms or whatever, or data logs hidden throughout the world. And this is something I think gaming FPSs need to bring back, is like telling stories and expanding the world through like Easter eggs and like data logs and shit like that. I really do. Give me a second. The thing, the companies themselves are corrupt and full of bureaucratic assholes and fucking woke SJWs, and I know people hate that word, but still, I mean, the gaming industry has been destroyed by the woke capitalism. But no, here's the thing: You want games that matter. You want these games, the memories you want to come back in new forms and new generations of Halo and Destiny players. 343 and Bungie, you need to spend your money, communicate to them, and just don't buy their products. This is for the entire gaming industry in general. We want gaming to get good again. Let's put our money into indie companies or smaller companies, like the people who made Baldur's Gate 3 or the people who made Cyberpunk, and communicate to people, hey, we want real games, so we're going to put our money and our effort into things that don't support you. And people need to learn that. We need to learn capitalism is democratic at its core is democratic. And if you don't spend your money on this, then the product dies out. The market is a reflection of the consumer base. And that's just a message to all of us. We want gaming to stop sucking so much. Let's just put our money into other games until they get the picture. Hey, let's up our ante and go back to making good games. But in closing, I mean, if you want real Halo, play the Halo mods in Halo 3 and play those. That is full blown. I will be streaming that when I get the opportunity. They've made a massive Halo firefight Warzone map on Sandtrap in Halo 3, and they modded it where you fight hordes of Banish, Covenant, Insurrectionists, Foreigner AIs. There's boss fights with the Gravemind and a Banished Scarab, and there's a story to it. So a lot of the creativity for the Halo community is coming from like the fans. It's not coming from the companies themselves anymore. It's coming from like the books are what's keeping the corporate franchise alive right now, and what's keeping the gaming industry, the culture of the fan base alive right now is the mods. It's the modding community and what they're doing with the source code. And I think we need to collaborate with them. And the more we show interest in these like indie developers and these independent like modders, we'll send a message to Halo and tell them who they should hire. Halo has and always will be one of my top 4 favorite game franchises. Probably number 2. Number 1 probably be like Coder or SWOTR or Mass Effect. I don't know. BioWare and Bungie are some of my favorite gaming companies of all time. And I got into Bethesda in my 20s. I love ESO and Fallout 76. Hot take. But no, we need to stop. We need to communicate to the gaming industry. They want that we're not going to spend money on corporate projects anymore, and they'll send a message to the AAA studios, because once again, if they don't get the money, then their entire industry dies out. So be careful. So let's create like indie companies or like beta or like mods for free, and they'll tell them, hey, we're more willing to pay money with these modders than we're to make money with you. We'll rather play this free mod than buy a shitty game that doesn't work anymore. Halo and Bungie, Destiny, these games stand out even now compared to most of the modern day gaming market because they tell a story, they tell a mythology, they create an atmosphere and a community and worlds and universes where you can get lost in, have adventures in, and just endlessly have fun in. And that's where Bungie stands prime. And 343 has elements of this still left, but they're really dying out, apparently, with the exception of maybe their multiplayer on Halo Infinite. Seriously, get involved in the custom games and multiplayer in the Forge mode on Infinite. I keep on saying that. It's literally horde modes of like Spartans going to dungeons and fighting off Covenant remnants. I love it. Banish and Covenant hordes and boss fights and missions and campaign missions. That's where the future is. It's the community. And 343, the Halo Infinite community, is still really creative in the shit they're creating and the kind of content they're creating using the source code from the Forge mode. But no, Bungie and 343 will always stand out to me at their best because the communities they create, the stories they create, and the universes that people can immerse themselves in. And that's real magic to me. That's actual magic to me. The stories and the universes and the realities people are creating, whether it be the actual companies themselves or the people who are modding or just indulging themselves in these universes. And I just love that. That's actual magic. Yeah, and that's where I'm at in today's video. Bungie is more worth putting your money into right now than Halo is, but hopefully that changes. Hopefully there is a resurgence of Halo, and I'm gonna put my money into Marathon. It's a great game. I'll be twitching it. Just remember, folks, these games are deep mythologies. The memories and nostalgia you have for them will outlive anything, and they have been some of the best memories many of us have ever had with gaming, with any form of gaming. Till next time, folks. Stay sane.